Hello, and welcome to the World We Live In podcast. I'm your host, Eric Patterson. Alongside me is my sister, Erin. Join us as we explore the amazing, mysterious aspects of our planet's cultures, history, and future trends. Yo, what's going on?
What is up? How's your week?
Been good. Finally getting some warm weather. It's great.
Yep. It was beautiful.
Yeah, the sun isn't going down at 4:30 or 5, so I can't complain.
No.
Spring is always just a great time.
I feel that. I had a day where I was scared about my allergies. And I was like, oh my God, is this what I'm in for the next 4 months? But worth it.
Yeah, definitely worth it. I mean, it does suck, especially in Tennessee. The pollen gets pretty bad.
But we just buy local honey and the problem solved.
That's right, yeah.
So,
does that actually work?
Yeah.
It actually does.
It does. It's the only thing that helps mine.
So by local, it means the bees have to be raised in Tennessee or just like Nashville?
Well, the person who told me about it / gave me it last time was like out like 30 minutes past where you are.
Okay.
So like it still worked though. I guess it's just like
middle Tennessee.
Middle Tennessee works, but yeah. So they got it out there, but I was like, I don't know if this will work, but it did. Like all the medicines, they worked for a little bit. Like Claritin really worked, all that stuff, and now I'm like, honey I have to because it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, see that's the thing about like I feel like people are coming to recognize that like medicines work, but they don't fix anything.
No.
Because if it fixed anything, then there would be no recurring revenue, and then Big Pharma wouldn't make any money.
Nope.
It's literally that simple.
So, in short, it could be fixed, but it's not.
But it's not.
Because where would they get money?
Yeah.
But, yeah, so for anyone who has issues, I recommend getting honey.
Local honey.
Yeah, it works. Put it on your bagel, on your...
Just whatever.
Whatever people eat these days. Yeah.
Now, does it have to be a certain amount?
They say just like a teaspoon.
Teaspoon, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
But, I mean, I eat it like it's going...
Yeah.
Like, I won't have it tomorrow. Like, I eat a lot, like twice a day.
Honey is like pickles for me. I did not used to like either, but now I love them.
I like it. I also, over Christmas time when, like, I was sick and my throat was just so, like, dry.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll try honey because I would eat it for my allergies or whatever. But so it became like, I like tea, like hot tea.
Yep.
It's good. But I thought it was gross. But then I was like, well, I have to have it. So.
When the allergies are bad enough, you'll do just
when anything's bad enough, yeah.
you'll fix it. Exactly. Okay, well, so it's not a referral, but different podcasts, they have like the references to what they talked about, and I was just going through one of my favorite podcasts, and they had some links to different websites. I was just messing around, and I've definitely heard of this website before, but it's called UFOinsights.com, and basically it's just a database of UFOs, conspiracies, cryptozoology, supernatural, just like accounts, just like stories. So like no fluff, just like, at least the ones I've read, just straight up, just story time.
Okay.
Which is pretty much what we
great.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was looking around and I came across the name Stephen Greer, which it sounded like you're familiar with Stephen Greer, Dr. Stephen Greer. I am mainly because I listen to MU and they talk a lot about Stephen Greer. Not a lot, but the name's mentioned quite a bit. So if you don't know about Stephen Greer, I just want to give a little background. So he is a medical doctor. He's the founder of the Disclosure Project, Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence, also the acronym SETI. I don't know if people use the acronym, but the Orion Project, the Sirius Disclosure, and I mean he's done a whole host of other things, but those are like his organizations. And I don't know to the extent, but they do these like contact conferences where I guess they try to contact aliens.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I think I've heard about this.
Yeah, I've heard people mention it, but
yeah.
I just never have researched it, but there's something along those lines. Mm-hmm. But the story I chose to read while we were looking for some material for the podcast is about Dr. Stephen Greer and this other researcher in Mexico. So
love that.
Yeah, we'll do this, and then maybe a couple other things. And,
yeah.
Let's do it. This story here takes place in 1994. So there were some sightings in Monterrey, Mexico, and what happened was the Center for Study of Extraterrestrial Life, Dr. Greer's organization, organized a field investigation, and they sent several members of the group to meet this man named Santiago Ituria. He is a Mexican UFO researcher and investigator. And so this involves Dr. Stephen Greer, and this woman has passed away, I believe. Yeah, it says the late Shari Adamiak. Adamiak. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not familiar with her, but I guess she was at one time the executive director of CSETI. So this is pretty bizarre. It has to do with there's no like, it's like in between physical and like non-physical contact. It's very strange, but
okay.
So these events unfolded and they went down. So on the 13th of December, Shari dreamt of extraterrestrials showing the spot where we should come to have a meeting with them. Okay, so they're in Mexico and she has this dream. And there was even a so I guess she had day and nighttime views of this spot. So like there was some marking in the sky where she would know where to be. So they drive into these mountains called the Los Mitres Mountains. And it's a well-known UFO hotspot, apparently, in the area. And they chose to make a base camp at this spot. And as the night set in, 2 stars over the mountain appeared, and they started glowing. And this was the same thing that happened in her dream.
Okay.
So this area where they chose to camp was not only a hotspot for activity, but local researchers believe that there's an alien base inside the mountain, and there are these strange and dense clouds that regularly form over this area of the mountain where there's this supposed base. So on this evening, they didn't really see anything strange. At 10:30 p.m., a very bright light appeared overhead. It traveled in an arc over the sky and appeared to disappear near the Orion star system, clearly visible in the night sky. Within a minute of that sighting, very dense clouds appeared out of nowhere and shielded what appeared to be a very specific part of the mountain. Little after 1 a.m., strange aerial activity began. A bright strobe-like white light appeared at the edge of the mountain. Adamiak, Greer, and other team members witnessed this. They watched as another light came rolling down the side of the steep slope of the mountain. Mm-hmm. As this happened, Greer and Adamiak felt a presence nearby. And they both believed at this point there was a spacecraft and extraterrestrial beings very close. They noticed small, square-shouldered beings in the distance, in like the trees and the brush, and they were small creatures, about knee height to a standard adult, and they were popping in and out. They would like pop and then like go back, and like they didn't want to be seen.
Okay.
Adamiak claimed that these beings wore a dull orange rust-colored uniforms. At this point, as they continued to watch these beings, a voice appeared in Adamiak's mind, and it was a telepathic message. That they had video cameras set up, and these video cameras were causing concern. They were of concern to these little these little beings.
Okay.
So yeah, she attempted to send a telepathic message back that they shouldn't worry, as the camera was off. And at that point, the activity seemed to settle down a little bit. So they didn't use the camera anymore to catch any footage.
Right.
So they didn't want to do anything to like startle these supposed creatures, mm-hmm. and they obviously couldn't. They couldn't like talk to them physically, so it was all like mental communication. And another message got sent to Adamiak, and apparently these creatures were having difficulty adjusting to their energies. They said that the Adamiak's physical energy was focused around her stomach, and she said that she had eaten an energy bar earlier. So at this point, a strange feeling came over her, and it was like an invisible hand was pulling the food out of her stomach, and then she just threw up. Oh.
Okay.
She was fine after that. She said it was only mildly unpleasant. And then after that, basically their physical bodies disappeared, and they just became these shafts of golden light. Then the lights then morphed into a large oval bluish fog, and each of them turned into strange mist. And a tall humanoid entity appeared with straight silverish hair and a light blue and silver uniform. The team members watched as basically this thing is standing there, and the visitor, this cosmic visitor, as it says, feared that if he should manifest into a more physical form, it would cause them to be dangerously frightened.
Wow. Which,
as interesting as that is, it's still very vague.
Yeah, it is.
You know, like, what does that mean?
Yeah. Like we're not already frightened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you're in the woods by yourself with like two other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Have you, before I maybe was weekly on this podcast, have you talked about like the different types of close encounters?
You mean like Close Encounters of the Third Kind,
Yeah.
Fourth Kind? Probably been mentioned, but
because just like Stephen Greer does a lot on like Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Yes.
So that's it. Like, just for background, that's exactly what these are. Like, they're like physical, but like he said, not physical interactions with these beings.
Yeah.
So that's considered like the fifth kind. But the reason I know Stephen Greer is because he has a documentary specifically about that. Well, he has a lot, but he has one specifically of the fifth kind.
Is it called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's really, really cool. And it like is these people, I don't know if this story exactly, but it's some of these people talking about it. So, and what they've experienced. But if you all are interested.
Yeah, I think they're all on Amazon. At least that's where I've seen them. I saw it on Amazon. Yeah, I mean, this guy's been at it a long time, so his stories are endless.
Yeah.
They're endless. So yeah, and then they became part of this telepathic three-way conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where they were basically talking about having a meeting with this extraterrestrial, and basically it ends with the extraterrestrial saying, "Soon again, soon again."
Ugh.
So it's kind of creepy.
Okay.
Again, very vague, but so and after this happened, and the next day, I guess they were still in this local city.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they had some other team members that were doing some television program. They witnessed this small bright light on the side of the mountain, and they were headed to somewhere else, but because they saw that, they like changed their plans and went to follow this light. It turned a brilliant red and shot out a lightning bolt of energy and vanished. They witnessed a golden streak shoot through the sky as it was headed towards this, I guess there's a volcano called Topo Chico.
Oh, love that.
Didn't know that, but apparently that's where it was going. And after that happened, they were driving back to their home base, wherever that was at this point. And along with the driver of the car, they witnessed a large disc-shaped craft with a dome top rising slowly into the skies. And it was there for some time, and then it just basically disappeared, shimmered out of existence. So yeah, pretty crazy account.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Basically, they experience an alien visitor on this slope of the mountain. That location was given to Adamiak in a dream.
Through a dream, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
interesting that it was supposedly in the dream given to her in like various ways. That she could picture, like, that she would know what it looked like in the day, in the night, like, from like a bird's eye view.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like they would be seeing it.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it says in day and nighttime views.
Yeah.
So that is very interesting.
Wild.
It is wild. Well, what's always interesting to me is when you, because there's obviously a lot of UFO sightings in the U.S. But when you go to different countries, it's always interesting because they're usually very, like, they don't differ that much. It's pretty universal as far as like what happens.
Yes.
It's never different, but the mountain part is interesting to me because I know I believe it's Mount Shasta out in California, as well as what's the one outside Seattle?
The mountain.
Yeah.
Is it
Mount Rainier?
Mount Rainier, yeah.
And I believe it's Mount Fuji in Tokyo or in Japan.
Yes.
All have UFO lore associated with.
Yeah.
So something about the mountains.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. Like, they're not gonna like fly around like downtown Nashville or something.
No, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, if you were gonna make a base, if you were a UFO and were gonna make a base, like you would want to do it in somewhere that's hard to get to.
Yep.
And mountains are extremely difficult for humans to traverse.
Yeah. They definitely have it up on us there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, if it's a volcano, you just fly in the top.
Yeah,
like you get
exactly.
little crafts and you just fly in the top.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. And I assume they know when it's going to erupt, so they can get out.
I would imagine if they have gravity defying craft, they could probably tell when a volcano is going to explode. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very true.
What else you got?
Well, there's this one account that I've heard of before and heard the story, but I just came across this story on it. It takes place in Japan. It says 150 years before Roswell. It's called the Utsuro Bune legend, and this is a picture. So we'll link to these in our sources, but basically, this is a depiction of what the basically people in 1800s Japan saw.
Okay.
And it looks like a flying saucer.
Yeah, it does. Exactly like
if
them.
you were the Kenneth Arnold sightings, and this is what it looks like.
Wow. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is. So according to this account, I cannot pronounce. It was in. So this detailed account was in a book, and that's in Japanese. And
yeah,
we
don't know that one.
But this incident took place on February 22nd, 1803. So fishermen were working along the shore in Harayadori.
There you go.
Harayadori, yeah. In the Hitachi province of Japan. They would notice a bizarre, extraordinary object floating in the water heading their direction. Although it wasn't under any apparent control. Mm-hmm. It was just sitting in the water. The fishermen would reach this vessel and tow it back to shore. They estimated that the object was around 10 feet in height and almost twice that wide. So, okay. I mean, that's pretty large. That's pretty large.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think like a human, average man is probably what, 5'8"?
That's like a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah. Yeah, for real though.
Literally, wow.
Yeah, it's like
it is.
It's a studio.
Yeah,
it's a floating studio apartment.
Yeah, they were way ahead of the times.
They were way ahead of the times. So it was seemingly split into a top half and a bottom half, with the top half made of a red wood-like material, while the bottom was much more metallic and solid. The shape, so it's not really relevant, but it was identical to an incense burner, a Japanese incense burner, I guess. And this incense burner, I guess, it looks like a flying saucer by association. So they looked in the windows, and there was some sort of clear crystal. They would claim the interior appeared to be similar to that of a wooden rice bowl.
The interior appeared to... Okay.
So we got the top half was made of some redwood. The bottom is like a metal. Mm-hmm. And then the inside looks like a rice bowl.
Okay.
So...
Sounds like a 1-bedroom apartment, too.
Yeah, it does. Lots of wood.
A lot of wood.
The windows were covered with strange bars of an unknown material and were covered with a fluid-like substance. And that's about all for the details. Mm-hmm. they noticed writing on the walls inside the craft. They also noticed a bottle full of water and what appeared to be something similar to a cake. Again, one-bedroom apartment.
Yep. Water and like a random piece of cake.
It also appeared to be some meat and a stash of food. Sounds like my one-bedroom apartment.
Yep. It did.
Yep.
I wonder if there's like just things lying everywhere as well. Like in no order. Is that what it sounds like?
Yeah, it sounds like a hurricane just ran through it. Yeah.
It does sound like
So there were bed sheets.
Oh, gosh.
And then they noticed a young woman.
You know, that also.
That also sounds like my place. She was around 20 years old, and the fisherman agreed she was very beautiful. Her hair and eyebrows were red. So if you know anything about Japanese culture, not a lot of red hair.
No.
Usually very dark complected. She appeared to have some kind of extensions going on. So where her natural hair finished, there were extensions. And they said possibly made of white fur. Don't know about that. Her skin was a particular pink tone.
Oh. That is quite an illustration.
Very strange illustration. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. Her clothes were made of an unknown material. They were long and smooth. She was holding a light-colored box throughout the whole encounter. Have they said if she was asleep or awake? Is this?
No, they haven't.
They haven't. She would not allow any of them to touch the strange box, so I guess she was awake, appearing fearful of what they would do. I guess.
Yeah.
She spoke to them in a language that none of them understood. So at this point, the fishermen, they didn't know what to do. So they pushed the boat back out to sea and let it just drift.
Good idea, probably.
Another account apparently says that the fishermen left the boat where it was. And the woman just like grew old there. That's what this says. I don't know. Yes, so they say, according to research, these hair extensions of all the cultures and their warriors, royals, and citizens, these type of hair extensions and styling is not found in any other records of history. So it sounds like what they're saying at this point in history, hair extensions were not...
Like they were trying to see if it could have been some other culture
exactly.
around.
Yeah. Like she was on a boat,
I
guess, and she had drifted. I don't know.
Yeah. But it wasn't like any other culture at the time.
Yeah, apparently not.
We do love a good hair extension.
Always.
But she was killing the game, apparently.
So yeah, there's also there's a lot more in this article, but that's the basic account. So as there are unidentified flying objects, there are also unidentified submerged objects or unidentified submersible objects. Basically UFOs that go in the water.
Yeah.
That's like a whole nother classification. So the article is saying that there are a lot of UFO sightings that happen near water.
Yeah, I feel like that's true. Like I hear about a lot of them around water.
But yeah, I guess the reason this sighting is so famous is because it's from the 1800s and it was recorded, and that didn't really happen. The only other ones I know of are like some of the sightings that talk about in on Ancient Aliens.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Like
show.
I remember one. There's like a painting that depicts like these flying objects in the sky from like the 1500s. I think it was over some town in Germany or France. Yeah.
As we were talking about this, I was just thinking about when I would come home from, I don't even know what grade it was, but all that was on the TV was Ancient Aliens.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had 2 years where that's pretty much all I watched.
And I was like, this is so wild. And who knew? Like, I thought he was crazy. But
yeah.
No, I really don't think he is.
I mean, there are some crazy explanations on there that I do not believe, but as a show in itself, it does a great job of pointing out just some of the unexplainable parts of history. Yeah,
I feel like they weren't necessarily trying to explain it. They were just like,
this
stuff's crazy and,
you know? Yeah. Like, I mean, they cover so many topics, but like that painting I just mentioned, like
what?
How do you? I don't know how you just. I mean, I guess the artist could have just been some dream, but like I don't think that was a possibility. But yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, this is strange report there. The article goes into a bunch of more kind of explanations, but again, I did not read the whole article, so I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't know, have the depth to go through all that, but... So when you watched that documentary on Stephen Greer, Stephen Greer's documentary, what were they...
If I remember...
What did it follow? Did it follow, like, one of their events that they hold?
Yeah, I think it was... I actually I'd looked it up to make sure. It was a while ago, but I believe it was, like, a group of them who... Oh, yes. I don't know if they started the documentary off with this or what, but it was a bunch of things that he was saying that, like, our government / like, people in power are hiding from us. And then he went into detail, like, if we knew this, like, how much our world would be changed and whatnot. But it was, like, so hard for me to get my head around because, like, this specific type of close encounter is so... It's kind of like very, like meta, like up here. Like it's hard to grasp.
Yeah.
Because you think like, oh, you like see something in the sky, okay, or you like they like interfere with your like electricity or something and stuff like that, which is very easy to understand. But this is like just very different. So it was very interesting, but
it's like it's a non-physical type of encounter. Yeah.
But yes, what I did like about it was there was actually a ton of, like, it wasn't just them talking about it, but there was a lot of actual, like, evidence, like, physical things.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I don't know how else you would explain that. Obviously, you guys should watch it for yourself, but, yeah, I loved it. And they talked to, like, I don't know, I didn't know who it was, but a very, like, legendary attorney, like a civil rights attorney, about like his experiences.
Huh.
And then
it says Jeremy Piven directed some of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. I remember that.
Interesting. Yeah, Daniel Sheehan, civil rights attorney.
Yeah.
Huh.
I was trying to... The name like sounds familiar, but I cannot...
Yeah.
I think I watched this over, like, the quarantine period.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yes, because he has crazy hair.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy white hair. Yes.
That's funny.
His interview was very interesting.
Really?
But, yeah. And I also watched his documentary, Stephen Greer's Unacknowledged.
Okay.
Super good, too.
I'm going to have to watch these, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's cool.
Interesting.
The little title at the top of the, like, canvas for the documentary is... We're not alone, we never were.
Ooh.
So,
thanks.
Eerie.
Very eerie.
It was super good. I think I watched them back to back, but when I had nothing important to do. So
yeah, it's man. The tough part about this topic is there's so many avenues you go down because you have like these, and then you have like stories of like or supposed happenings of like Silicon Valley types like dosing LSD and like making contact with like different realms or different dimensions. Yeah. And it's just has that influenced like the technology we use currently? Right. Like is this meant to be like how we live, or is this influenced by some other other dimension.
Yeah.
Or other group of entities. Yeah. Like, I don't want to say God-type beings, but some sort of advanced...
Yeah. Like, knowing type thing, yeah. Definitely.
Also, like, what knowledge has been lost? That's the crazy thing to me. And then we'll end on this, but, like, I was, like, the library at Alexandria that got wiped out by, I believe it was an earthquake, I believe. Oh. I can't remember specifically, but the library at Alexandria, the ancient Egypt, I think it was, I can't remember if it was BC or right after, but it got wiped out. But it held records from like all of the ancient world,
right?
And it got destroyed. And then like the Spanish when they conquered the Aztecs and the Incas, there's only 4 living copies of books from the whole Aztec Empire. Everything else they just burned
because they burned it all.
They burned everything or melted it down.
Yep. That's one of the craziest stories to me.
Yeah.
Like, and no one thinks about that.
Nobody.
Like, how much we don't know, and not because they were trying to hide it, but because it got wiped out.
Yeah.
Like.
Or because they were supported by the Catholic Church, so it was just like a matter of this is evil.
This is how it, this is how it is, and this isn't. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Man.
Well, we've talked about this before, but also what's hiding in the Vatican archives.
Yep.
That's a great rabbit hole that I love.
It's so good.
Like the chronovisor. That was a great story.
That was one of my favorite ones.
That was a good,
Apparently it got destroyed in a fire.
Oh, a fire.
They said.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know it got destroyed. I just didn't know specifics.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well... That's that. Kind of went all over the place.
Yeah, we did. But go on your way knowing that we don't know anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has been destroyed.
Exactly. You know nothing.
Yeah. Just keep listening to us.
Yeah.
That'll be sufficient.
Yeah, it'll get you through the day at least.
It gets us through the day, so.
Okay. Y'all can find us at Twitter at World We Live Pod. You can email me at worldweliveinpodcast@gmail.com. Listen to us on Spotify, rate and review on Apple Podcasts. And Twitter, Gmail. I think that's really all I use. So, okay.
Thanks for listening.
Yep, thanks for listening. And we'll talk to you next time.